Hello, and thank you for joining me in this webinar, How to Find Freedom from Emotional Eating, Reboot Your Metabolism, and Finally Lose the Weight You Want. My name is Jennifer Jackson, and I'm a mind-body practitioner who specializes in helping women over 40 find freedom from food cravings, emotional eating, self-sabotage, and yo-yo dieting. I know that losing weight and keeping it off, especially when you're a woman over 40, often feels like a steep uphill climb. Maybe, like many of my clients, you're not happy with how you look or feel and know that losing weight would help, but nagging food cravings sabotage your best laid plans for healthy eating. You eat to relieve stress, anxiety, loneliness, or boredom, and then feel even worse later. You constantly criticize yourself and your body. You feel like your metabolism has slowed to the speed of a sloth. You have lost weight only to gain it back again, and then some. Or maybe, no matter what you do, the scale just doesn't budge. In short, at this point in your life, losing weight and keeping it off feels like nearly an impossible feat. If any of this sounds like you, you're in the right place. In this webinar, you're going to learn why so many diet and weight loss plans fail, and what to do differently so you can finally lose the weight you want and keep it off for good. Before we dive into the material, I want to answer the question many people ask me: how did I get into this kind of work? Although I've never had trouble losing weight, I have had my share of concerns and frustrations with my health. The most persistent and impactful for me has been my long-term struggle with insomnia. When I was 15, I began having trouble sleeping. This problem waxed and waned for decades, depending on how much stress I was under. During my worst episodes, I would go for months on 2 to 4 hours of sleep a night, stumbling around like a zombie, unable to fully concentrate or focus, always exhausted, but never peaceful enough to get more than an hour or two of sleep at a time. During other periods, I slept okay, but always the fear of the insomnia monster lurked in my closet, and if I had a restless night, I would panic, which would most likely set off another month or two of severe insomnia. About a decade ago, during the height of the recession, I was laid off from my job as a teacher and had difficulties finding work. Because of this, my husband and I were not meeting our expenses and had to foreclose on our house and live with a friend for almost a year. Needless to say, this was an incredibly stressful time for me, and my insomnia went through the roof, allowing me almost no sleep for over 6 months. Just when I was at my wit's end, I was introduced to some mind-body techniques that helped me reclaim my sleep and my life. I finally got to the root of why I had struggled with this issue for over 25 years, and am happy to say that it's under control now. While sleep is something I will never take for granted, and my sleep system is still very sensitive to stress or change of any kind, I now have tools, and I know how to manage it. If I have an off night or two, which women of my age are prone to have, I no longer panic, but know how to calm myself down so that one night does not escalate into a full-blown episode. These techniques were so life-changing for me that I quickly became a certified practitioner and began working with clients. During this time, I also had some digestive issues and found myself at a wellness center that focused on digestive health. The protocol of cleansing my organs and systems along with a specific nutritional plan to meet my needs quickly solved my issues. I felt so at home in that wellness center that I explored the possibility of using my techniques to help the clients there. Many clients who seek out our center want to lose weight, reverse health concerns, and have more energy and just generally feel better in their body. But some clients have difficulty sticking to the nutritional plans that could bring about these changes due to long-term habits that are so hard to shift. It turns out that the mind-body techniques I use to shift my relationship to sleep work just as well to shift people's relationship to food. When you've struggled with something for a long time, often it's not enough to simply hear a solution. Many well-meaning people gave me suggestions on good sleep hygiene and ways to relax. Probably most of it was great advice. But if my body was in a state of overdrive, all of that advice was useless. When my mind was a whirling dervish at 2 a.m., nothing would irritate me more than a relaxation CD telling me to clear the thoughts from my mind. If I could do that, I would have been asleep already. I needed a deeper solution, something that would get to the root of why my body was in overdrive in the first place. In the same way, receiving a beautiful, well-thought-out nutrition plan might be just what you need to lose weight and feel better. But if something is keeping you from sticking with the plan, then the plan is useless. The techniques I use get to the root of why my clients have trouble sticking to their plans and allow gentle, compassionate shifts to occur so my clients can at last have the success they desire on a nutrition plan. So what have been your past experiences with weight loss attempts? Maybe you started out with great intentions, but soon found yourself reaching for your favorite comfort foods when life got stressful. Or maybe you strong-armed yourself into sticking with the diet long enough to lose weight, but then found the old habits crept back in and things quickly went back to the way they were. Or maybe you tried different things but got frustrated with the lack of results, so gave up. By the time my clients find me, they feel frustrated by previous weight loss attempts and confused and overwhelmed about what to do next. So why do so many diet and weight loss plans fail, especially for women over 40? Many plans fail because they only address one thing: what to eat for physical nourishment. While knowing what foods best nourish your body is extremely important, it's not the whole picture. First of all, we eat for more than just physical nourishment. One important reason most of us eat is to experience joy and connection. Going out for drinks or ice cream or eating special foods at parties or family gatherings is an important source of joy for most people. You can cut this out completely for a little while, but ultimately most people feel deprived or resentful if this category is not acknowledged as important and somehow worked into a long-term sustainable plan. To reach your weight loss goals, modifications may need to be made in terms of how often these occasions happen or what kind of foods or how much is eaten at these events, but this source of connection and joy needs to be factored in, acknowledged, and planned for, and not taking this need into account is a big reason many diets fail. An even bigger saboteur to the best-laid food plans are the eating habits we have developed to help ourselves cope with this complicated modern world. I'm talking about convenience eating, stress eating, which often happens at work, mindless eating, often in front of the TV, emotional eating, binging and purging, overeating, or just eating a lot when you're not hungry. And it's easy to see why these habits develop. Sugar, simple carbohydrates, and other processed foods send a rush of feel-good chemicals to the brain. Like drugs, these foods can temporarily soothe stress and anxiety, numb anger and sadness, or relieve loneliness and boredom. And they're legal. They're everywhere, and you don't need a prescription for them. However, these foods not only pack on the pounds, but as we age, our bodies become less able to process them. Have you noticed that you're not able to eat or lose weight the way you used to? As we age, we steadily lose the ability to burn carbohydrates as we did when we were younger. Foods we once could eat now cause inflammation and disrupt our digestion, metabolism, and hormonal balance. In fact, women who have the most difficulty losing weight often have these issues to contend with: a lower carbohydrate threshold, which declines steadily with age, insulin resistance, unknown food sensitivities, hormonal imbalance, and a slower metabolism. No wonder losing weight and keeping it off so often feels like an impossible dream for women over 40. So, in order to effectively lose weight and keep it off, two things need to be in place: a whole foods nutrition plan designed to repair your metabolism and burn fat, balance your hormones, blood sugar, and cravings, cleanse your body of toxins and decrease inflammation, work with your unique body's needs and preferences, and find a balance between excellent nutrition and enough fun foods to keep you happy and sticking to your plan long term. And if you're like my clients, the other thing you need in place are mind-body techniques designed to rewire any disempowering habits or beliefs around food so you can successfully stick to the nutrition plan and embrace new healthy habits for life. So let's look at this Whole Foods nutrition plan. One thing we know for certain is that not all bodies are alike. What worked for one person may not work for you, so we need to look at your body's needs and preferences. Ultimately, we want to develop a sustainable plan that you can stick with long term. But to get there, I recommend a 3-phase plan, including the elimination phase, the exploration phase, and the lifestyle phase. During the elimination phase, we temporarily eliminate all the key foods known to promote insulin resistance and cause allergies, sensitivities, and inflammation. In other words, we give the body a break from all the foods that are typically difficult to process. By eliminating these foods for at least 14 days and feeding your body only with nutrient-rich whole foods, we begin to cleanse and detoxify your organs and systems and repair and reboot your metabolism. Most women lose weight during this phase without calorie counting or portion control, and cravings become greatly reduced because the diet helps balance blood sugar, and the recommended recipes are delicious and satisfying. This is basically the plan I followed for about 3 months when clearing up my own digestive issues. It worked immediately, I felt great, and it's safe to stay on for as long as you like. The only issue is that it can be pretty limiting to stand for the rest of your life. Most people want to add a few more foods to their diet, which brings us to the second phase. In the exploration phase, we will systematically test each food we eliminated to see how your unique body reacts. Some foods may cause issues for your body while others may not, which brings us to the lifestyle phase. Once you know what foods work for you and what foods don't, you can develop an ideal long-term eating plan that accommodates your specific needs and preferences. In the lifestyle phase, our goal is to find the balance between excellent nutrition and just enough fun foods to keep you happy on your plan long term. This is a solid plan, and when people are able to follow it, they have success. However, as I have said, knowing what best nourishes your body is only the first step. Letting go of habits that have sabotaged your previous attempts and creating new habits for lasting success is what makes the biggest difference. I know that changing long-term habits is not an easy thing to do on your own. This is because, over time, your habits have become hardwired into your subconscious mind as something it believes you need to do in order to feel okay. Maybe you've seen a visual like this before, where your conscious mind is represented by the tip of the iceberg poking out above the surface, that little part that we can see and are aware of, while the subconscious mind is represented by the huge landmass beneath the surface of the water that we're not able to readily see. We know it's there, but we can't necessarily see it. So the conscious mind is associated with willpower, short-term memory, logical thinking, critical thinking. In other words, all the mind tools we use when trying to make a big change in our lives, while the subconscious mind is associated with our beliefs, perceptions, emotions, habits, values, protective reactions, long-term memory, imagination, and intuition. In other words, all the programs that run our daily lives. Scientists estimate that only about 10% of our behavior is associated with our conscious mind, which leaves a whopping 90% of our behavior is associated with the subconscious mind. When you have tried to change long-term eating habits using only the tools of your conscious mind, you have inadvertently set up a war within yourself. Your conscious mind probably exerted every ounce of willpower it possessed, but if it was up against a strong program in the subconscious mind, it didn't stand much of a chance. So what do I mean by subconscious programs, and how do you know if you have them? We're now going to take a look at 5 of the most common subconscious programs that block people from either losing weight in the first place or keeping weight off once they've lost it. If you were able to download your self-assessment, now's the time to have it in front of you, ready to fill out. If you are not able to download a copy, no worries. You can still follow along, but you may want to take some notes. So let's look at these 5 programs. Program 1 reads, "Eating this specific food will make me feel better," and it shows up in your body as food cravings. There are physical reasons for food cravings, and we can address those with diet. But there is also an emotional component that needs to be addressed for food cravings to fully become a thing of the past. When we crave a specific food, usually there are positive memories linked to that food, often memories from childhood. Our subconscious mind has stored these positive memories and has hardwired them to the food. Now, when we're stressed or bored or overwhelmed or just in a habit, our subconscious mind will helpfully remind us how good we felt when we ate that food, and it will nag us in the form of food cravings to eat that food again and again. This is a problem when you're trying to stick to a healthy diet and all of a sudden you are craving chocolate pastries and you don't just want one. This is the most common subconscious weight loss blocking program. In fact, 99% of the people who struggle with weight have it. So let's turn to your self-assessment and answer the following questions to see if you are running this program. Is there a particular food or kind of food you crave? Is this food associated with a positive memory or person? If this food was in front of you, would your desire to eat it be very strong? Now rate from 0 to 10 how strong this program is for you. So let's now look at program number 2, which reads, "The best way to escape, numb, distract myself from this pain is to eat." And it shows up in your life as stress eating, emotional eating, binging and purging, overeating, or eating often when you're not hungry. While the first program developed from positive experiences, this next program developed from negative experiences. Perhaps somewhere in childhood you might have learned to associate eating with feeling better. This is especially true if there were things to escape from in childhood. If mom and dad fought a lot, if there was any kind of abuse, if one or both parents were alcoholic, or if there was any other kind of trauma or chaos, at some point you might have noticed that food eased the pain. This pattern could have also developed into a problem later in life following a painful period such as a death or bad breakup or divorce or job loss or financial stress or any other kind of trauma or difficulty. Your brain then fused together eating as a way to escape, numb, distract yourself from feeling painful emotions. And now, even during minor stresses of the day, your brain helpfully reminds you how much better food makes you feel. Now turn to your self-assessment and answer the following questions. Do you often eat when you're not hungry? Do you tend to eat more when you're feeling stressed, overwhelmed, angry, bored, or some specific time during the day or night? Once you start eating, does it sometimes feel hard or even impossible to stop? Does your eating ever feel out of control? Do you ever feel ashamed or guilty about your eating? Now rate from 0 to 10 how strong this program is for you. So let's now look at program number 3, which reads, "Don't tell me what to do," and it shows up in your life as self-sabotage. Most people think they can't stick to a diet because they lack willpower. But it turns out that willpower is not entirely what most people think. Willpower is not just about your own personal power, but is rather tied up with your relationship to your authority figure when you were growing up. If your parent was critical, domineering, or controlling, and you're struggling with your weight, there's a possibility that you're still internally struggling with your parent. Going on a diet is giving yourself certain rules. The problem is we all take on the voices of our authority figure. So you may be giving yourself the rules, but it might be triggering your struggle with your authority figure, and at some point your subconscious says, "No way, don't tell me what to eat. I want those French fries, all right, now get lost." And before you know it, your hand is bringing your French fries to your mouth, even though consciously you would plan not to eat them. So here are some questions to see if you're running program number 3. Did you have a difficult relationship with one or more authority figures growing up? Do you have a rebellious streak? Do you tend to sabotage your diet and/or exercise efforts? Now rate from 0 to 10 how strong this program is for you. So now let's move to program number 4, which reads, Clean your plate. And it shows up in your life as being compelled to finish whatever is on your plate, even if you don't really want it, and not being able to throw food away. Lots of people who struggle with weight have trouble leaving food on their plate, and especially throwing food away. They feel guilty, like it's wasting money, wasting food, somehow not right. This generally came from a parent who insisted that the child need to clean their plate before they could leave the table. This is certainly an unhelpful program when you're trying to lose weight, particularly in our supersized culture, where the portions can be enough for 2 to 3 people. So here are some questions to see if you're running program number 4. Were you told to clean your plate as a child? Do you feel compelled to finish what's on your plate even if you're no longer hungry? Is it hard for you to throw away food even if you don't want it? Do you feel guilty, like you're somehow doing something wrong or shameful? Now rate from 0 to 10 how strong this program is for you. Now we come to the strongest program of it all, which reads that it's not safe to be thin. And this shows up in your life as sabotaging your efforts. When you reach or get within range of your goal, or simply not being able to lose those last pounds no matter what you do. When people are running this program, they start to feel uncomfortable or unsafe when they get within sight of their goal weight. They might feel uncomfortable when people compliment their appearance, or unsafe and want to hide when they're given any kind of sexual attention. This usually comes from any kind of abuse, particularly sexual abuse or even sexual boundary violations, such as someone making a comment when you were beginning to develop. This feeling of not being safe can also come from an illogical connection your subconscious mind has made. If the last time you were thin, something bad happened, such as you got a divorce, had a bad breakup, had a death in the family, got a diagnosis, lost a job, or some other painful thing, your subconscious mind may have linked this unfortunate event with being thin, and is now trying to protect you from another bad thing happening by keeping you heavier. So let's look at the questions for program number 5. Do you feel uncomfortable when people compliment your appearance? Do you feel anxious when you receive sexual attention from strangers? Have you ever been sexually violated, either physically abused or made to feel uncomfortable in your body? Do you feel safer at a heavier weight? Did anything bad happen the last time you were thin? Now rate from 0 to 10 how strong this program is for you. So those are 5 of the most common subconscious programs that keep people from losing weight in the first place, or keeping weight off once it's been lost. So here's the bad news. If you're running any of these subconscious programs, losing weight and keeping it off will always feel like that steep uphill climb, because your conscious and subconscious minds will be at war. And if 90% of your actions are controlled by your subconscious mind, guess which side always wins? But here's the good news. When you can reprogram your subconscious mind so that it is in alignment with your conscious mind and your weight loss goals, you will be able to easily stick to a diet or healthy plan. Pass up or have small amounts of your favorite foods without feeling deprived, anxious, or obsessive. Feel motivated to exercise. Feel safe and confident in your body, all of which naturally leads to achieving your weight loss goals. So my client Shannon is an excellent example. Shannon had gained over 50 pounds during her divorce when using food as a means of comfort and distraction. In just a few sessions, we were able to transform this behavior so that in our 6 weeks together, she was able to lose over 20 pounds. A few months later, I received a text that she had not only reached her weight loss goal, but because she felt so much more confident in her body and had so much more energy, She was able to manifest a new job closer to home with better hours and pay. She literally seemed like a different person than she was before we started working together. So what would life be like for you if you were able to lose the weight you want and learn the tools to keep it off in a healthy, sustainable way? Maybe, like many of my clients, you would be able to reverse health concerns such as high blood pressure, prediabetes, or IBS. You'd be able to feel more confident in your body and happier with yourself, experience more mental clarity, sleep better, and finally have the energy to live a full and vibrant life. So if you want to lose weight, but in your past attempts have bumped up against old habits, and if you found in your self-assessment that you have one or more of these subconscious programs running, I have an exciting opportunity for you. I would love to offer you a free, absolutely free, subconscious pattern assessment call. During this call, we would look at your weight loss goals and what has blocked you from achieving them so far. We'll look at your self-assessment and uncover the subconscious patterns, programs, and habits that have kept you stuck. If it turns out you want my help in shifting these patterns and seem to be a good fit for my work, we can talk about working together and map out a plan. I work with people both privately in one-on-one sessions and in supportive group courses. We can look at your goals as well as your budget and find a package that meets all of your needs. If you don't want my help in shifting your patterns or don't resonate with my work, there's no pressure to say yes to anything. You can say no with no hard feelings. Even if we don't end up working together, it's still an excellent opportunity for you to gain clarity on what has blocked your weight loss efforts in the past. So this call is for you if you want to lose weight, reboot your metabolism, and change your habits and patterns. If you had one or more programs running in your self-assessment. If you are ready to do the inner work and the outer work of shifting long-term habits and patterns, and you are ready for big transformation. This call might not be for you at this time if what you really want is to simply take the magic pill to weight loss. Or you didn't find any subconscious programs running in your self-assessment, then I wouldn't be the person for you to work with. You're not willing to do self-reflection and introspection or change your habits. And maybe right now you're not ready for a big transformation. So this might not be the time for a call. However, if this call is for you, then you now have 3 paths to choose from. You can do exactly what you've been doing and get the same results you've been getting. And let me tell you, your subconscious mind likes this choice. It feels the safest. Change can be threatening for the subconscious, and it may be trying to talk you out of anything that could mean change. But if you have an inkling that this could be the help and support you need to change your habits and your life, I urge you not to listen to that voice. The second choice is you can piece together the advice in this webinar on your own. There are lots of books and plans similar to the nutrition plans I recommend, but without the deeply transformational mind-body techniques and a safe space to shift your habits, you might not be able to stick to those plans long term, which, of course, makes them completely ineffective. The third choice is you can give me the opportunity to help you change your habits and change your life. If it's not a good fit, there's no pressure to say yes to anything. It's simply an opportunity to gain clarity. So, if you found you have one or more of these subconscious programs running, and you're ready to dissolve these programs and change your life, I would love to talk to you. You simply click the link below or go to this link in your browser, www.bit.ly/WL, which stands for weight loss, call now. So it's WL call now. www.bit.ly/WL call now. So it has been a pleasure presenting to you. Thank you so much for listening. And if this call is for you, if you have these programs running and you want to lose weight and you want to reboot your metabolism and you want to be successful this time, shift what's been going on, then please go to this link, www.bit.ly/WL Call Now, and I hope to talk to you soon.